Anyway, we're here to tell you some school stories. If you haven't told by now, I don't like middle school. You know, it's like, let me tell you, it's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like if you had a nightmare. It's like if Tumblr were like an actual place to visit. Yeah, it's just, yeah, that's just a good way to describe it. You know, you got one of those girls that are like, my life sucks, even though they get like free, almost like new clothes every day, and it sucks, and I hate it.
They just listen to Billie Eilish all
Yeah, and then they're like, I'm so grunge. Yeah, her stuff isn't that bad. I wouldn't say it's bad, but it's just like, I don't understand it, you know? I just honestly don't understand it. That's the kind of people you see there. It's like, no. And you know, they like those like douchey like musicians. Yeah, I know some musicians are douchebags, but like, when you take a good look at them, you can obviously tell, God, man, it's like if one day he woke up and he was just like, sure, let's just go fuck up people's lives. Just why not? Cause why not? Huh? So anyway, crap. You know, middle school just sucks in general. Mostly the people, but you know, sometimes you got those teachers. You know, middle school teachers aren't like your kindergarten teachers. You know, like they know you're innocent and stuff. And whenever you tell them you didn't do that thing, they like, oh, okay, they believe you, cause like you're a young kid, man. Like, hey, why would you do drugs? Anyway. But in middle school, you know, the teachers just don't trust you. No matter how much you tell them, you didn't do it. Alright? Anyway, it goes to my story here, where I talk about this one teacher, you know? Mr. Mello, you know, he's a cool teacher. He was fun. He's funny. When he blows up on a student, it's like if Hiroshima just fucking, like, if Hiroshima was absorbed by this man and he turned into the goddamn Hulk.
I've only communicated with him 3 times.
Like once, just to ask him something about like a stapler.
Yeah, and then I asked about his videos in Palos Verdes, because he used to do skateboard videos and shit.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, you know, this man's fun and all, but like when he yells at you, you're just like pissed. Like it depends. Like you might think it's funny, like which sometimes it is. You're like, oh, whoa, man, you gotta calm down. Sometimes it's not. Like, and the times it's not is when you're actually not doing anything. This one time,
he's the guy in enrichment who's like, he doesn't want any talking at all, and he's like, he flips out on kids who do.
Yeah, like, and you know, he gets a lot of crap from the school. It's like if he's the human urinal of the school. So I can kind of understand why he's pissed. But sometimes he just gets pissed out of nowhere. Like it'll be silent and then someone coughs and he'll be like, shut your mouth. Like that kind of piss. And you know, like you're just like, whoa, dude, you gotta calm down. Take a chill.
And then
you know,
he ejects kids and is like, don't come back.
Yeah, and half of the time they ain't actually, like, sometimes they do it and then they won't admit it. But most of the time they ain't actually do anything. Like they'll be reading and then like their friend asks them a question. They're like, hey, so like, do you know how to solve this equation? And then you're like, oh yeah, sure. And then just out of nowhere he's like, stop talking, get out of my classroom.
He was talking to me.
Yeah, and you know, like, it sucks though. Like,
I don't care.
And you know, the first time he yelled at me, it was a somewhat reasonable thing, because I don't know if laughing is technically considered talking. But anyway, like, you know, like someone told me a joke and I started laughing, but it was like a quiet laughter. It was like a little giggle, and that's it.
I think this is like the first time I signed up for his enrichment.
Yeah, and then
I had to go away because I had like a migraine.
Yeah, that. And I'm dead. Anyway, so, you know, the first time I was laughing, right? And then he's just like, stop talking. And I'm like, I'm not. And then you're like, oh wow, you're talking right now. And I was like, okay, geez, fine, I admit it. Like, calm down. And then like it got all silent, and like I was still like kind of rambling on. I was like,
oh, man.
And you know, I didn't mean it to be that loud, but sometimes I'm loud when I don't mean to be loud. And he's like, you better watch your mouth. I'm like, okay. And you know, like the way I said it, it sounded like I was pissed at him. And he was like, okay, calm down, jeez. And you know, like in my head, I'm like, you're the one who blew up on me. And you know, like the whole day, my friends actually thought I blew up on him for no reason, which I mean, I guess it was reasonable, but still, I was kind of like rambling on. Like I was like, God, dude, like I didn't mean to do anything. Like I wasn't actually pissed with him. And, you know, like for a while, it was kind of awkward. And, you know, I still like to I still liked his class. I wasn't extremely pissed with him, but like, you know, like when he yells at people, you know, you're just kind of like, he didn't do anything. But you know, you don't want to tell him that because like, he's just gonna blow up on you. He's gonna be like, are you part of this conversation? And Matt said my curse words would be reversed, so I don't know what you guys are hearing. It'd probably be like if like someone just yelled into a microphone. That's probably the sound. Anyway, second time he yelled at me, you know, I was actually really pissed with him. Like above all, like that was the first time I've ever yelled at one of my teachers.
This was the Lincoln play, right?
Yeah, so it was just crazy, dude. Like I was so pissed out of my mind. Like I actually almost flipped over the goddamn table.
So it's like one kid, you were supposed to be Lincoln. And
yeah, so we were like doing a play, and you know, like we were talking about it, and like my group was like, okay, so you're playing Lincoln, and like yeah, and then like this new kid, you know, he was new, he just got in, and he didn't get the thing yet, so he picked Lincoln anyway. And you know, I didn't know until like later on that we both had Lincoln masks, and then, you know, Mr. Mello went up to me. He was like, "Who used to be playing?" I'm like, "Lincoln," and then he was like, "Are you kidding me? That kid's already playing Lincoln. All right." He just went off like a 1 minute tangent on me, like just for no reason. Even though I was like, "You assigned me, specifically me." I remember yesterday, like that you went up to me, you're like, "Okay, you guys are playing Lincoln, and you gave me the goddamn paper." And, you know, like, I got so pissed with him when he was telling me this. And, you know, like, the thing that set me off the most was when he was like, "Come on, man, don't be stupid." And I just got off my chair, and it looked like I was about to flip over the goddamn table. I was like, "You call me stupid?" And, you know, like, the whole goddamn class just went silent, and they looked at me, and he was like, "Whoa, dude, calm down." And then, you know, like, I was like, "You're telling me to calm down? You're the one who's..." And my friend was right next to me, and you know, like, he knows I can get pissed really easily, and you know, when I get pissed, it's like a goddamn volcano. And you know, it's like for a while, like, he kind of just never talked to me after that, because I don't know if I scared him or not. Anyway, so, I was just really pissed with him, you know? Felt like I was really pissed that day, and you know, like, for a while, like, I was pissed at him too, and, like, you know, my friends just, like, from now on, everyone at the class just knew me as the kid who yelled at Mr. Mello. And it was just great, though, honestly. And, like, it's so loud, you can actually hear it from my earphones. That's actually how I woke up one girl who was sleeping in in my English class, Mr. Cho's class. You know, she fell asleep, and then they were supposed to turn in their books, and I wanted to wake her up. They told me to wake her up, but I wanted to do it in a funny way. So I pulled out. I started playing, I think it was Lech by Slipknot. And, like, all you heard was, "Oh, no, what, Judas, what, motherfucker?" And, you know, like, the whole class turned around, and they saw me just, like, sticking my earphone to the slightest bit. It was, like, 1 centimeter, but, like, that crap can make you deaf. That's how loud it was.
Yeah, it's like, the phones can go pretty loud.
Yeah. I mostly pumped it out that loud because this one ear wasn't working. Like, the one earbud on this one, it wasn't working, because I've had that that one pair of earphones for a while, and I may have stuck them in the washer by accident, and, you know, like, I may have dropped them on the floor a few times, just, like, scraped them against the floor while I was walking, and I didn't notice, because sometimes they fall out my pocket. But anyway, we're getting off topic. And, you know, like, a few times I've been pissed with him. Like, one day, he thought I was on my phone, and it was during the wrist break. He was right next to me. Like, he thought I was on my phone, even though I was just trying to, like, get something. Like, I was trying to scratch my leg, and he was like, "Get off your phone!" And then he, like, went up to my table, and then he was, like, looking at me and thinking, I was like, "Oh, never mind." And, like, the whole time when he was looking through me, I was like, "What? What?" Like, yeah, like, and he was scared. He was like, okay. And he just walked back to his desk, and, you know, I kind of, like, I feel, like, slightly bad for yelling at him. Like, he has to deal with me. He has to deal with that one kid who can just like, who looks like the quiet kid at class, who hangs out with like the weird kids, or apparently the weird kids, like, even though these guys are pretty cool, like, who just hangs out with the fucking weirdest kids, you know, and just like out of nowhere he can just blow up and just start flipping out. That's the kind of kid I was.
Shut up!
Yeah, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so, you know, let's talk about my other teacher, Mr. Saunders, aka if God just had a hemorrhoid and took a massive crap and that hemorrhoid came out, that's Mr. Saunders. And you know, like, all the other kids are like, what do you mean, he's just cool? And you know, I'm like, he's not. Like, Emilio should know that he's not a cool teacher. Daniel should know he's not a cool teacher. He's just like a douchebag. He looks like he doesn't enjoy his job at all. Like, and like the whole time he's like, I enjoy my job, and you know, like, just in your head, you know that guy's just crying inside. Like, he's just internally crying because he has to deal with us. You know, the like possibly the worst generation. Still though, he was a douchebag. The first time he ever yelled at me, it was for a reasonable thing. Like, I was just playing around with my friends, and like just out of nowhere, I just like unzipped their backpacks because I was like, your backpack's open. That was a joke. And you know, like, he just started yelling at me, and he was like, what's wrong with you? And then, you know, I was just like silent because that was the first time I got yelled at for something stupid, or something stupid I did. And you know, like, it just sucked though, but like, oh crap. And he was reasonably pissed with me, because I mean, come on, kids, don't do that. Don't rifle through your stuff, especially if it's from the teachers. You just like, don't do that, man. That's the stupidest way to get in trouble. And like, you know, the whole time he was just like unloading like box full, like Costco size crates full of rage at me. And you're like, the whole time I didn't know what to say. I was just godsmacked. I was just like,
it's like every time he like comes up and talks to me, I feel like I'm about to shit myself.
And you know, like, for a while I was scared at him, but I was also pissed too because he yelled at me. Well, like, the first time he yelled at me, it was for a reasonable thing, so I was mostly scared. And well, yeah. So, and then one day I was hanging out with my friends. I high-fived them. They were girls. The girls, they're girls. It's important information for later on. But yeah, they were girls, and you know, I high-fived them, and then we just started shaking hands like this, like locked hands, and we were like, yeah. And just out of nowhere, he comes up to me. He brings me in, and like, he's talking to me. He's like, what were you doing? I'm like, I high-fived them. And then he was like, alright, come on, man, you're a dude. Don't touch girls like that. And you know, like, in my head, I'm like, you retarded? You told me, you asked me if I had meds for like my retardation, and here he is, just like, and like, when I went back to my friends, they were like, why did he yell at you? And I was like, I think he just called me a pervert. And you know, like, I was kind of pissed with that. And like, another time he yelled at me. That was like the last straw. Like, I got so pissed that day. One day, I actually stepped in mud, so I was trying to scrape it off on the grass, or not on the grass, but like on the concrete. You know, it was already dirty. And he just came up to me. He ran up to me. He was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I got stuff on my shoe." And he's like, "You're gonna get the." Fucking kidding me? This whole goddamn school is like it's just like that. And you know, like, I didn't want to yell at him back because I thought he was gonna like, you know, like, just annihilate me.
Rip your head off.
Yeah. Like, and like, at that time, I didn't know how to talk to teachers, and I didn't like talking to adults anyway. Like, I'm like, it's not that I don't like him. It's just that I just don't like talking to people in general. Like, I don't have anxiety or anything. I just like prefer not to talk to people because I'm lazy. But you know, like, he was okay at first, like, but still, like, everyone was happy to hang around him for like a while. But like, in my head, like, I was just like so goddamn pissed. Like, in my head, like, I was like, don't you dare goddamn go up to me. I'll stab you if you come near me. And like, the first time he yelled at someone, it was because they were messing with the presentation. Like, they were changing the fonts. And you know, like, when he was yelling at him, I was like, if that ever happens to me, I will kill him. No one's gonna see it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. And like, You know, it kind of sucked though. Like I felt bad for him, and like every time someone yells at him, I felt bad for it. But it was like at the beginning, and then like after a while, you kind of start feeling less bad. You just really wish that the class would end so you can do something else. But yeah, and fuck.
Those some good stories.
Wait, no, I think there's still more. Holy shit, this is $24. 24 minutes, not $24. Sorry, for a second I had my mind on money for a second. Anyway, so one day I was working on a group project. And, you know, we couldn't figure it out because one, it had to do with like pulleys and shit, and you know he was getting pissed at us because we couldn't figure it out. You know, in my head I was like, who you're dealing with? You're dealing with goddamn retarded children, of course, and you're getting pissed because they don't understand the first time.
With middle school.
Yeah, yeah. Like in my head, I was just like, dude, you raise children. You should know how hard it is to raise goddamn children. And like, I get that he's like 60 and he should have been retired by now, but at the same time, like, I don't know if the school won't let him retire or if like he just chose not to retire. Like if the school, because I mean the school we go to is like the weed school, like anyway, but like still though, you know, like you gotta, it's the weed school, man. You can't expect everyone just to be goddamn genius with the IQ of 1,000,000. But like he was yelling at us. He like it was for a stupid reason too. Like he was like, "Who's talking?" And you know, I looked over to check who it was, and like my group were looking over to check who it was, and then he was just like, "Oh, it's you guys. Of course it is." And you know, like when he turned his back, I flipped him off because of how pissed I was, and everyone was just looking at me. And like everyone like looked at me for a second, and then like my friend. Like Daniel was just like, dude, don't start anything. Look, I know what's on your mind right now. Don't do anything. And you know, like that whole time when he was helping us, like when he came to our goddamn table, like in my head, I was thinking of like I was just ready to just flip out. Like now that I think of it, while I'm hearing myself talk, I kind of sound like that douchebag, like at every bar who hits on a girl. Who's like, oh yeah, I totally beat up that guy. Like I'm just telling stories for fun. Or because Matt wanted me to tell stories.
Yeah, I thought it would be good YouTube content.
Yeah, I don't know if it is, because I mean, I don't know if you guys are gonna enjoy it. Like, barely anyone follows it. But, like, still though, like I was so pissed at him, and you know, like at one point, like I didn't turn in my homework because I didn't finish it, because I forgot I had it, and you know he yelled. He was like, "Okay, do I need to like?" You know, it pissed me off because like he didn't yell at anyone else who didn't turn in their work. Well, he yelled at specifically me. Like, let me tell you that. And like, and you don't be like, oh, maybe what if you just had the last straw, man? Like, what if you just like got pissed that day because everyone like, no. Like specifically me. Like right after me, he was just chill. Like some kid like named Stevie just was like, hey, I didn't turn in my homework, and Mr. Saunders is just like, okay. You know, like, that pisses me off so bad. Like, he gets extremely pissed for no reason. And, you know, like, what insults me...
What is he, still going through puberty or some shit?
Yeah, and, you know, like, he's just always on his goddamn period. But, yeah, like, he was like, oh, come on, dude. Do I need a tattoo and constantly remind you, like, I need to tattoo your reminders on your forehead? And you know, like, in my head, like, I didn't say anything. I fucking death stared that guy. And you're like, don't look at me like that. And you're like, the whole time I didn't listen. I just looked at him with dead eyes. And, you know, I don't know if I, like, scared him that day. But, God, dude, like, I don't know. And, you know, like, Emilio, like, when he gets yelled at, it's like, it's somewhat deservable, but sometimes it's like bullshit though. Like, Emilio, you gotta listen. You got the thing with Emilio. He asks the stupidest questions in existence. Like he's just like, "Is it for points, Mr. You know?" And like I'm sitting at the back, and I'm just like, "Oh my Emilio,
oh God,
why, dude? Why do you have to ask that question?" And you know it's reasonable, but sometimes he gets yelled at for no reason though. Like he'll be sitting there, and he was like, "What the hell is your problem? Do I have to kick you out of my classroom?" Like, if I was in his boots, I would have been, if I was in Emilio's shoes, or in this size, Godzilla shoes, like the only kind of shoes that can support his weight. Like if I was in his shoes, I would have been like, what the fuck is your problem? Like to son, like directly, like he's getting ish on so many times. Anyway, so I don't know where I left off. Anyway, we were talking about Emilio. You know, I just felt bad for the guy though. Like you get constantly bashed on. Like sometimes it's reasonable, but sometimes it's not. And you know, Daniel was pissed too. Like, see, Daniel asked like the actual correct questions. Daniel's a smart dude. Like he's goddamn Einstein in this group.
It's like he gets upset when he gets 3 A's and 3 B's.
See, that's an Asian's job. That's not my job. So I'm Asian. Somehow that's not my job. You know, my parents just. You think my parents would get mad that I get like B's and C's and A's instead of just straight A's? But cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you know, like Daniel asked the right questions and still like
Get on.
yeah, and like he helps his son though. Like he just treats him like the dumbest motherfucker there. Like sometimes Mr. Johnson's funny, but still, like in the back of my head, like I know that I hate him, like with a goddamn passion. Like when I first told it to people that I know, they're like, "Are you sure you're just saying that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, trust me, I hate him."
Alright, so yeah, thanks for watching
Thanks
our
for watching.
school stories. Bye.